Okay, so there are quite a number, but one comes to mind that I think was very powerful in terms of shaping my leadership journey. And it was a time when I was feeling very frustrated about certain things I was doing. I was leading a unit in one of the companies I worked for in an equity capital markets firm. And I remember my boss, the MD at the time, said to me very calmly, he reminded me, and it was so random, he said to me about the size and the weight of the targets that I was running was bigger than some of the companies listed in that particular board of the exchange. And he just said it, but it's I don't know why he said it in the way he did, but it landed very strongly to me in that he was trying to get me to see that I was running this unit, but I should see it as a company, that there were companies, some companies that were not as big in terms of the size of our budget and targets of that unit. So it was something that really shaped my mind, I guess, on the journey in making me feel somewhat like an entrepreneur, even before it was a buzzword, in the way that I saw my leadership and in the way that I ran the unit therefrom, and subsequently in my entrepreneurial journeys and building other companies, etc. So my answer to this barrier question is a bit dry. And I say it's dry because I don't have the usual stories that we like to hear of the challenges, the very female-centric challenges. And I think they're usually sort of two things that sabotage, right? And one is an external sabotage and the other is a self-sabotage. On the self side, I grew up with boys, 4 older brothers. I grew up with lots of nephews in the home, very high masculine energy type environment. And I think in a way it was very desensitized in a way to the gender sort of disparities, in that I was very used to working with men and living with men and being with men. A lot of that sort of bias, I didn't see it. I was always in male-dominated industries. When I became a qualified stockbroker, we were very few female stockbrokers at the time, and many other times with other roles, I was very much always situated where lots of men were. So there was that, but in addition, I also had the opportunity of great leaders. And so 2 of my bosses in the early stage of my career were very gender-forward principals. And I had the benefit of being in a space where these people respected and gave women opportunities. Even long before it was a thing, they were just very supportive of women, extremely so, especially of course at the levels that I was in at the time. I would observe and later learn that there were many parts of the hierarchy where it now became more difficult for women to sort of play. But that's a different story. I had the benefit of having such leaders. In both instances, those 2 MDs of those companies I worked for had very strong mothers who were very fulfilled in their careers as well. And I point that out because I think, it's just this ripple effect, and it just sort of reminds us, even as women, as we show up, that there's so many parts of that showing up that affect other people. And so these people didn't have a reference point for seeing females as any less. And so they were just as supportive to women because they had a frame in strong and accomplished mothers. And so I'm a beneficiary of that. A lot of the things I also see, maybe from observation, have to do perhaps with sort of esteem issues and things like that, that a lot of us, we had to find perspective about. If I were to mention obstacles, they would be around issues of maybe my own confidence or my competence, and not so much of a gender issue. And luckily, by the time I had risen in my career and facing some of those things on a high level, I was already in a different kind of place. So my journey has not been so colorful with a lot of obstacles personally, and that's my truth. I always like to say that balance for me has always been subjective to the way that I see success. And when I look through the different seasons of my life, I recognize that of my priorities. So there were many times of trade-offs, quite deliberate trade-offs, dealing with what was most important to me per season. And so even though now there seems to be a sort of coming together after all of these years, I think through the years, I remember when I stopped work literally to raise a family, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 3 years. There were times when I had sort of lower income negotiations or acceptance for the opportunity or the bandwidth of my time, which was more important to me, to do other things I wanted to do. So for me, it's always been that sort of understanding of the trade-offs for the success levers, to find that balance and to have that holistic life that is important to me. Home environment is everything for me. I think the home is, no doubt, it's the sanctuary, it's the refuge, it's the place where you sort of almost feel from. And it's played a large role for me, first of all, and the kind of family I've had growing up, of people who were very supportive of me, but also now in my home, finding the immense support of a husband who understands what you're doing. So I think if I have to give it as a counsel, it is in the counsel of choosing right, people who support your dream and who you're aligned with, and you also, of course, vice versa, support theirs. That harmony is very key, because when you want to go far, you need a certain level of ease and support on many fronts to allow you to have the freedom to really do what you're called to do. I often say that I've spent too much time giving. Of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of my work, a lot of what I've done over the years has really been, and of course I am reaping a lot of the reward of those seasons. But I'm very much a strong believer in the opportunity of service and how it leads us to be who we are. Of course, I've done quite a lot of things across several industries, and a lot of that, the ease with which I do some of those from, is really because in many seasons I have served. When I was working, I used to do sort of personal trainings for young graduates, business skills, industry-wise, certain industry associations. I was always sort of leveraging and lending my support. You might know I've been a judge on the Next Titan for the past 9 seasons, serving and helping entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and give them the mentorship that they need to thrive. I also run a non-profit. We give support to indigent communities, drug support. And so all of that service I find to be the things that have strengthened me. Even though I was giving, I was also learning, I was gaining skill, I was literally expanding my scope and heart. And I find that this time, it always sort of comes back in making you a richer, bigger person. And again, I think when you speak about giving to gain, is that as much as you're not sort of giving just to gain, I find that the two are one and the same, that in that spirit and process of giving, you are without a doubt always gaining, and it always finds a way to uplift you.